Let's go.
You're listening to Making Data Simple, where we make the world of data effortless, relevant, and yes, even fun.
Let's go.
Hi, Al Martin here, back again and Making Data Simple. Today I have Jad Chehlawi. He's the founder and CEO of TelosTouch, and we had actually, this is part two. This is part two because our first one was like a debate.
It was.
It was like an hour-long debate, and we had a lot more to talk about. So then we find you in Silicon Valley.
Yes.
In San Jose, and I happen to be in San Jose.
Perfect.
So we're here together.
Yes,
And,
we are.
and the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions, beat the San Francisco. Just to make sure everybody knows why I'm sitting here in Silicon Valley. But you're not a football fan.
But we have something in common. We have championship pedigree because the Raptors won the championship at the NBA championship.
Basketball guy. You need to follow professional football, no? NFL?
I grew up in Lebanon, and the main sports are basketball, soccer, and tennis. So when I came here, football, hockey, baseball were all new flavors.
All right, hey, good. So let's jump right in. Last time we had a debate on the state and the need for a financial advisor. And I think if anything, we agreed on the unhealthy or the dysfunction of the business to some end, and that's where you come in with the technology to correct all this, right?
Definitely. So, yes, we came to the conclusion that what advisors were doing in the past was not bringing a lot of value to clients, which is only focusing on investments. We spoke about the fact that markets are efficient, yet we discussed that you still need people to help you guide the behaviors that can create more wealth, and you need a different engagement model to do so.
You know, and I also followed up with a financial advisor after that discussion, and we had another debate, and I think we ended that debate with, hey, people don't do what they say they're going to do a lot of times.
Yeah.
You need that healthy relationship. So, no, I'm with you. And who won the debate? Did I win the debate? He won't admit that I won.
I'm going to give it to you because this is round two, and now we're going to see round two.
I think you did fantastic. I'm just joking. So I want to talk about the technology and the new business models that we're going to see as we move forward in the future in terms of human relationships, what we'd say augmented professionals. So let's start there. Where do you think we're going from a business model perspective?
So you said something interesting, the disconnect between what people say they're going to do and what they're going to do. It's actually something I said, but that you repeated, but still as interesting.
I stole it from you. That's okay.
That said, I want to actually add a third layer to that. There's what people say they're going to do, there's what they do, and there's what they should be doing. Three different things. Okay. And the first element that we need to focus on is to find the gap between when someone tells you they're going to do something with their finances and they don't. I'll give you a very simple example. I tell you I'm an aggressive investor, but the market corrects and I panic. I tell you I'm going to draft a will to protect my loved ones, but I keep on procrastinating and I never do it. So the idea is that this disconnect between what people say in an office versus what they do when they leave that office need to be actually gauged, monitored, and measured in order to start helping clients change their financial habits. Over and above that, there are some best practices, and not every behavior is optimal. So how can we start finding patterns in a particular persona or personality or behavior to be able to actually start modifying and intervening in the right way in order to change that behavior? And I'll give you a very simple example. You can have the best piece of software to teach you all the right habits to educate a child, but you may still need a human being, a mother, a father, ideally both, in order to actually educate this child. And I believe the future of advice will be delivering this type of insights for humans to help humans to make better decisions and act on them.
Fair enough. I think you have me there. That's where you will win the debate because I'm like any other person, and I talk big. And then when you go into the investing world and the market starts to crash, and I've been through a couple of crashes, you start getting emotional like everyone else because the world's coming down. Oh, nobody should be invested at all, and you're thinking, oh, why? When I should be probably investing when the market's going down. Yeah, it's hard to do. So I get it, and that's where a financial advisor can help significantly. So I got several questions around that, around the business model, et cetera. But let's start with your personal experience with AI and data. This is making data simple.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that goes into the solution you provide. Let's start there.
So I feel there's three problems in the data sets that we're analyzing in order to give advice. The first one is a structural problem. Institutions are sitting on so much data, but with their legacy systems, these actual data sets are not as actionable, and often the insight you derive from them is limited due to the siloed data within these institutions. The second problem is, I think, the bigger one, because this one with time, effort, sweat, and tears can be solved. But the second one is what I like to call the missing link. And if I want to just simplify these data sets, Amazon has consumer data. Bank of America has transactional data on the client. But the real question is, what is this missing link, the missing data set that actually can start giving you better insights on the context and the behaviors of people that actually is necessary in order to serve them better? And this missing link requires the creation of new digital experiences, new ways for people to interact with each other. Let's start looking at how you go and shop on Amazon. Lets us know your consuming habits. Your Uber rides gives you another set of data. The question is, how can we start creating a new way of interacting with our clients that connects the desktop of the professional with the mobile or the desktop of the client? And how can we start augmenting these interactions in a way that we make life and financial events easier to manage, but at the same time, we create a new engagement that creates new insights about the client? So that's the second data set. And the third one, which I feel will be the consequence of solving problem number two, the missing link problem, is to start building confidence in people to use these insights, act on them, interact on them, and start creating a feedback loop on this behavior that can create more wealth and more peace of mind for people.
So if I heard you right, data and all the silos you got to deal with. So you got to pull data together. In my world, that's all kinds of technology like data virtualization use, et cetera. I don't know what you use. But then secondly, new insights about clients, digital insights about clients, and the third one being confidence. Is that how your product is using? Is it able to provide the guidance counselor, so to speak, information around insights that they're using digitally and gathering about a certain individual?
So I'm going to ask you a question, Al, that I always like to raise. How can you serve your clients if you cannot see their changing needs?
I'm not sure that you could.
So that's exactly the point. And having a quarterly meeting with the client is not actually enough to really see what's happening in their lives. And it's when they leave the meeting that life starts happening. And emails, phone calls, in-person meetings are not enough of a collaboration mode in order to really get to understand your clients and serve them. So what our platform does, it creates the data that you don't have but need in order to be able to better understand your clients by dynamically finding these points in time throughout the year to have relevant conversations or opportunities to remove friction from someone's financial life. And I can give you a couple of very simple examples. One of them is with the statement. I send a statement with a short video explaining to you my outlooks on the market and the chance to see how you feel about that particular point in time. Another way is tax season. Every year we have to go through tax compliance, sending tax slips, contributing to our registered accounts. I add a digital experience there to start seeing some of the concerns or needs that you have at this point in time. And what our platform has created is hundreds of these digital experiences, we call them touch points, that enable the client and the institutions to interact in much more ease, but more importantly, to deepen the understanding of the client and what they're going through. And that becomes what we call the missing link.
What do financial advisors use today?
Today, they actually use a lot of things that live on their desktop, and the institution has a static client portal. So you have someone who has the best of intentions that's working, trying to build a plan, analyze your portfolio, look at your investments, look at your insurance needs, and someone who's sitting on their couch with their family, with their loved ones, that at best have a client portal that's static and maybe a mobile app that doesn't do anything. What we have built is the missing link between the advisor's desktop and the client portal to make it dynamic and to do many other things throughout the year with the people that you hire to manage your assets.
So to reiterate what you just said, after the last time we talked, I'm giving some financial advisors another shot. And I talked to...
They have hope. They have hope.
I know you, after we talked last time, you said you would not recommend one for me.
Honestly, I don't want to get into a fight with people because I've seen you're a tough cookie.
Yeah.
It's difficult to please you.
Well, but what you say is true. It still bothers me, and this Jen will probably listen to this. But I asked him, I said, how often do you meet? He said once a quarter.
Yeah.
So I got somebody that's going to meet... and let's. It depends on how much, money you're
He's
investing.
one of the good
course.
ones, and he likes you because you got once a quarter. Usually they get once a year if you don't like them a lot, and once a quarter if you're a top client. So yes,
but he's taken 1%, or that's. It depends on how much money you put in, but 1%, let's say, just for sake of argument, meets once a quarter. And I asked him how many clients he's supporting. He had 720.
wow.
How could you do that without a technology like what you have there? I mean, I don't know how you could know anybody.
100%. And I'm going to tell you something too. He spends with you one meeting every quarter. And if he comes and he does something amazing in that particular meeting, and he serves you, and he does some heavy lifting to help you do something that you were not doing before meeting him, the question is, how many other people within his 720 client book have the same need? And how can you start multiplying your best practices to people that need it? And often what advisors end up doing, they deliver their advice on a one-to-one basis, and there's no tool or technology to multiply their best habits and their best practices. So it's not only the fact of getting the information in throughout the year, there's the fact of multiplying your best practices for everyone that has similar needs. So it's a two-sided problem that our technology resolves.
Going back to that technology, we talk a lot about AI and data. That probably AI and data in this podcast. We need to talk about a lot of other stuff like governance, et cetera. But we talk a lot about AI and data. The question I have for you: are you implementing AI in any of the projects that you're working on?
So basically, we have actually 3 layers of interpretation on the platform itself. One layer is NLP of unstructured data. The other layer is starting to see patterns of behavior through the structured touch point filling, because touch points have certain responses that help us identify certain patterns. And the third one is start to codify what does the expert do with that particular pattern. So we're learning from the unstructured data, analyzing the structured data, and starting to identify some processes and different patterns within our data set. And in reality, sorry.
No, go ahead. In reality,
our actual technology is pretty simple. It took a while.
Don't undersell it.
It took a while to get to that simplicity. Yeah. We had PhDs working for 3 years trying to build cognitive maps, fuzzy logic, and different type of systems. And we brought it to a very simple formula that I'm going to be sharing with you. What really matters in financial decisionings are 3 different pillars that we need to track. Number 1 is emotionality. This could be I'm stressed about the market, I'm stressed about my relationship with you, or I'm stressed about my relationship with a loved one or life. So emotionality. The second one is follow through. Follow through, I say something, I do it. And the nice thing about follow through, if you're building the right digital experiences, you can very easily see follow through. And the third one is life event detection. Things that are happening in your life. And basically, from these 3 different elements of understanding and better interpreting what an individual is going through, we recommend touch points to validate based on the need of the client and based on how the client is interacting. We usually recommend one of these 4 services: either review the portfolio, or review the financial plan, or review the insurance need analysis, or have a meeting and talk with that person. They need a conversation.
So are you doing this emotionality follow-through, life event detection through AI assistance?
Yes.
And data mining so that it, like in other words, the advisor is flagged and you go, oh boy, this guy's having a life event that I didn't know about. I got to give him a call.
Yes. So basically, at this point in time, the different sources that we're getting, emails that come in, question that they ask. Things, by the way, we don't need to make AI operational. You don't need to go through this like whole very complex way to go and read the net in order to know if someone is going through something. I'm going to give you a very simple example, and you will see how changing a digital experience can create an understanding that today advisors don't have. Very simple example. You're my client, and I have a meeting with you for an hour next week. I send you a touch point telling you, Al, your hour is very valuable for me. I want to spend it on the things that matter most to you. Pick and choose from this menu what is really important to you. Tax planning, financial planning, estate planning. I want to look at my taxes. I want to look at my portfolio. So basically, by asking this question and by customizing your next meeting with your client, you're going to start gathering some contextual understanding of what these clients need. Now, sometimes they won't know what they need. That's the role of the advisor to intervene.
I was just putting down a note here. I hate that question. They always ask that question, but I don't know what I don't know. I mean, it depends. If you're going to save me a ton of money in taxes, then hell, I want to talk about taxes. Insurance, the same thing. Otherwise, I'm just... I'm only going to tell you what I know.
So
right?
that's great. So this is why we need to show you more things for you to start interacting more. Example, on our client mobile app, you can have a servicing request that allows you to ask a question as life happens. You can have a structure interaction. That's a touch point that you can go through because I know it's tax season now, or it's time to prepare your next portfolio review. But also what's really interesting, you can have a timeline which is a view on every single thing that we've done for a particular client. So it's like a glass door that shows you everything that the advisor is doing for you, as well as the chance to ask questions to learn more. I want to learn, what can I do here? As well as the future actions that are planned. So on the same interface, you can see the past, you can see the future, and you can interact and ask questions. The idea is the following. You cannot actually hope that clients are going to go and bridge the gap between what they know and what they don't to make the right decision. You can just create the context to drive certain conversations and enrich it. And then based on sometimes people wanting to engage on a subject or sometimes people wanting to avoid a subject, you can start intervening in an effective way.
So essentially the client and the advisor are looking at the same pane of glass to some and looking at each other's in terms of actions, what they need, et cetera. They can all view it at the same point within the software?
Yes.
NLP, talk to a little bit more about that. Natural language processing?
Yep.
Built into your product?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I will tell you where I'm finding the application really work to really interpret the text, understand the text. I think NLP algorithms out there, you have at IBM Watson, a few of them. I've worked with the Canada Lab, and they've brought a lot of ease into interpreting large sets of unstructured data. Where I feel at this point in time it's a bit hard to use NLP is interpreting behavior and personality. Mm-hmm. I feel reading text works. Reading personality, there are some challenges. We've been trying to go deep and figure out why we're not finding great personality indicators just by reading text. I think it's the methodology that they use to actually label the data and profile the data is a bit flawed because they use a lot of Myers-Briggs test to actually teach the algorithm. And when you come and you ask someone to come and, for instance, fill out a test, a Myers-Briggs test, and use that as your reference point, and then see how they write, and start finding extrapolation between both, I think personally the problem in the way these personality insights are actually being built is that the Myers-Briggs test has a big problem in its process. Mm-hmm. What I say about myself and what I do in life is two different things. And what I say about myself in a relaxed setting versus what I do when I have stress is two different things. And my level of awareness and mindfulness as a human being is actually variable, and different people know themselves better than others. So as much as psychometrics can work as maybe a baseline, I feel that using, if you want relevance in AI and being able to have good indicators to make the relationship that's very human, two humans working together, to make the relationship a bit more actionable and the insight a bit more practical, we need to create a box to have narrow, operational AI rather than trying to do too much. And I fell in that trap when I first started developing the technology. I was trying to do a lot, but then we've tainted a lot our product and our efforts in terms of intelligence.
So in practice, though, then where are you using it? Are you using NLP for social, like sentiment analysis or something? Is it, so you're doing it's part of the mining the data and mining the information out there digital?
So basically, we analyze 3 data sets on the platform. Number one, all the unstructured interaction. You can chat with your advisor, have conversation, and this is the first.
Oh, and it'll detect that like real time, and
So that's the first element, which is every conversation we can read all the emails and start seeing patterns of relational interaction. So basically, this is the first data set. The second one, the touch points themselves. I have the opportunity to give us structured data that have very high quality signal output. So it's very high quality data, because if today the market has just crashed and you are looking at your statement,
right,
and I'm asking you a question right now, I think this is a much better gauge of your tolerance to risk than what you wrote when the markets were doing so well on an account opening form.
Right.
So that's a practical example that shows these type of digital experiences that can augment the interaction. And the third data set are system interactions. What are they coming in? What are they doing? How often? Frequency. So all of that are signals together that can give us a good gauge on what our clients going through.
So I get your point. You don't want to boil the ocean too much in this, or you won't get good returns on that investment. So you've got to make sure AI has a purposeful, the word, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but purposeful use case, I guess.
Yeah.
One thing we had out of research that was very interesting, that's very similar to what you're talking about, is we do customer assistant type of technology where we can measure the sentiment of the client as they're talking on the phone.
Yeah.
So an agent can look at the screen and see what they're feeling, if they're angry or if they're not. And there's actually triggers that go off and say, hey, you're heading in the wrong direction. You better, change your rhetoric because they're heading elsewhere. I mean, and this could be used in sales and everything else like that if you're about to lose the customer, right?
And by the way, is it recorded voice?
Is it recorded? It's on. I don't know if it's recorded. Yeah, I'm sure it is recorded, but it's just on-demand voice as you're talking on the phone.
It's the voice.
Yes.
This makes sense more than NLP reading the text, and I'm going to explain to you why.
Yeah.
Voice, like you can hear as you hear my tonality, tone going up, going down, and you can feel emotion. Written words have a challenge. We use and we code the word in different ways. The word. And the words we use are different, or are bringing, you could say you're messing with me as something being friendly, or you can say you're messing with me, you're trying to take advantage. So the way we code and the words we use are a byproduct of the environment in which we've developed.
Right.
So I feel that if you are really looking at the tone of someone's voice talking, like us talking right now, and seeing emotionality, this works. If you look at written text, you have to have a baseline of how do this person code the world.
It's, that reminds me of like when I'm texting my daughters. They think I'm upset half the time, and I'm just texting. I have no.
Yeah.
Of course, they've got a whole different language themselves. Now I understand you can't just say K.
Yeah, apparently it doesn't work.
You gotta,
K is bad.
Yeah, that's bad. I thought that was good.
I thought it was efficient. I thought K was
bad.
efficient. Apparently you can't do it. I learned that too.
Saying that's bad.
My mom does that.
We don't know. I said, what's wrong? It's easy. You just hit K.
I always think she's mad at me.
That's
Same
it.
thing. Hey, so talk to me, I know you've probably hit on these already, but I want you, speaking of use cases, talk me through some of the wealth management issues like clients are seeing and how your software addresses those specifically.
Okay.
I just want to make sure it's clear so people know exactly those use cases of the technology and they can take advantage of it.
So I'm going to give you miscellaneous examples. This way you can see. I'm going to give you a situation where the market just corrected badly. And you look at the transactions of your advisor, and you see that the advisor has done no transaction. What will be your first reaction? The market has corrected badly and no transaction.
What do you mean by corrected badly?
That means dropped by 30%. And you look at your portfolio and you see nothing happened. What's your first reaction?
If I look at my saying that nothing happened, that my first reaction is he told me to stay in a market. I stayed in a market. Now, just as I thought, it crashed. It was too high, and he should have got out of it before it was too late.
Okay, perfect. So by the way, this is
that the right
exactly
answer?
No. This is, by the way, a very a common reaction. Different clients react in a different way.
Yeah.
But this is a very common reaction. But I'm going to give you now 2 additional pieces of information.
Oh boy.
The first one is the advisor didn't look at your assets and just had this philosophy of we should not panic and didn't do anything that month. Versus scenario number 2. The advisor spent the whole month analyzing every holding you have and made an executive decision that no action is the best action for you.
All right, so we got pause. I'm not going to get back into the debate because you're hitting right on it, though, right? I find my biggest reaction is that they're not looking at my entire portfolio. They are just saying, hey, it's modern portfolio theory. Just stay in, diversify, which. For me, I go BS, but I'll turn it back to you. I'm not going to.
No, by the way, that's perfect. And the idea is the following. Transparency of effort is the most important element of the value proposition. If I can't know the work that you're doing for me, how would I actually be able to even start a conversation? Tell you is it good or bad or evaluate? You can do nothing. So the first element that our platform delivers is transparency of effort. And most people that don't like transparency, they're afraid to open the kimono to show what's under the hood. And in reality, we give advisors the confidence to start building these experiences that are so transformative that transparency becomes a competitive advantage and not a threat.
See, now I would welcome that. I mean, if somebody came to me and said, look, we looked at this, and this, we compared it to this, we looked at some of these assets over here, and you've already got them at a low price, and blah, blah, blah. We think the trend's going to head in this direction. I could take that. What I can't take is, hey, just stick through it. It's fine. Just ride it out.
That's very healthy. And this is the way things should be. And let's take this particular example one step further. Now, some clients, they really don't care about their assets as much as others from a technical point of view. Everyone cares about their money, but some people look at the investment, some people don't. Now, let's talk about someone that looks at their investments. Some of them get very anxious if they don't know that the advisor is doing their job. So just showing the effort removes anxiety from the experience. And now we're not talking anymore about know-how. We're talking about experience. So if you're more hands-off and you trust, then being able to really see what your advisor is doing is not that important. But if you're more hands-on and you want to see what's happening, the capability to be able to track is going to enable you to actually feel more confident. So the capability of communication gives you a certain level of peace of mind. Now, that being said, the second element is not transparency of effort, is the knowledge of your client's behavior in order to deliver an experience that's going to make them feel at peace.
So get out in front of it proactively or preemptively. Hey, so let me ask you this. So this scenario, the market crashed. All right, does your software, if my advisor is using your software, I can go out and say, God darn it, this thing, the market crashed. Let me check it out. I'm going to see what he's doing. I can go to your software in that lens we talked about earlier and be able to view all the actions that have been taken.
100%.
So I mean, even without a call,
Yeah.
and be able to tell, oh, well, he's got my back.
You can go and check what your advisor is doing. So it's a glass door on their behavior. You can interact on a particular question and ask him a question. And by the way, he's not going to be afraid or she's not going to be afraid opening up that capacity, because often people say, if I get 200 questions in one shot, I'm going to go crazy. What can I do? Our technology allows the advisor to answer the answer once to a similar question. It's not a chatbot, it's their own personal views, and then it gets actually trickled to all the clients with the same needs. Because if you have a view on a stock, it doesn't change every 5 minutes. So basically, it's actually a much easier way for clients to see what the advisor is doing, to ask questions, and for the advisor to act on these incoming questions. And this is just one component that I just described and its timeline. But in reality, it gets much more dynamic than this transparency of the relationship. Events that you have to go through. Today, you do them in such a painful way. You have to call, email, fax, try to do something. Like it's not an easy. And by the way, fax was a joke, but it's not. But in reality, it's actually the methodologies for two people in the 21st century working together have changed in every single industry except financial services. We don't have real tools of collaboration to go through continuous event. And I'm going to give you a very simple example. One of the banks who uses our technology spent 6 weeks per year just managing tax season. 6 weeks. Doing the exact same thing, uncomfortable for the client because they have to call them or get them in, for something that happens every single year. With our technology, this goes down for 1 week or less for the bank, for 3 minutes or less for the client. So imagine now this quality of experience and the ability to start putting these touch points throughout financial and life events, and using this as opportunities now, because we remove friction from the interaction, to get to know you better, to ask you a question that matters, to make it easy for you to tell us something new. And the more clients use our technology, the more we deepen our understanding, the more we can serve them.
Let me ask you this one last question. Is there anything that we haven't said about your technology? Is there anything we left on the table that we need to make sure that we touch on?
Yes. It goes live in less than a week.
Wow, congrats again.
So that's big, because initially the way we built our technology, it took so long for a financial institution to use it. And that was obviously an adoption challenge, and the ask was very big. And what I tell institutions is that while you're focused on improving your legacy systems, we're going to offer you a low-lift solution for deeper client engagement. And that's extremely important, because I know how busy financial institutions are just playing catch up, but also I know how much pent up demand clients have, like our last meeting, to actually start interacting with institutions at a whole different level. So I feel we are in the sweet spot where, while they're focused on their legacy systems, we can offer them something tangible that they can use that will have an impact on their clients.
So, but tell me, what does that mean it's going to go live in a week? Does that mean that if I'm a financial institution listening here, I should say, I need to go, and you can tell us where to go, to figure out how I can do a proof of concept or start using the technology or whatever? What does it mean?
That means that if we start working together, I sit down with you in a room and I figure out what are your business objectives. Are you trying to increase interactions? Are you trying to offer a service that's not getting traction and that you feel can help your clients? Are you trying to make your team more efficient? And based on these conversations, within a week, I deliver an environment in which you can go and have your own personalized touch points and start testing it with your sales force and with your clients. You may want to start testing it internally, then give it to your clients, but within a week you will have something in your hands to start saying that the technology that we have really works.
Now, is this only financial institution, or do you have dreams of broaden this? I mean, I would imagine there's some other use cases, whether it's telecom or otherwise, I'm just making things up, but that you could use this same kind of technology for.
Actually, we already have a demand from other industries. Accounting firm, insurance companies, and legal firms are on our roadmap in the next 12 to 18 months. Because anytime you have a particular expert that wants to serve 100 relationships or more, they need our technology. Now, some people tell us everyone, healthcare, real estate, recruiting, HR, everyone needs this technology, but baby steps. We are focused on the financial services industry because we know it inside out. Insurance and accounting firms are our natural lateral moves, and we'll see where the business is going to go. We'll let the market dictate.
So right now it's business to business, and so if you're a customer, a business out there that says, "Boy, I could use this," where should they go?
Our website, www.telostouch.com, and our LinkedIn page. And they could simply reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to set up a meeting with someone on my team to give you a demo.
All right, we will put that all in the show notes as well. All right, anything else we miss? We get it? We nail it this time?
I think this was perfect. I think you made me.
I hope so.
I think you made me sweat for one session, and now you made us bring it home second session. Thank you
what?
very
I
much.
have to say, I mean, look, this is a topic that really everybody can relate to, right? Because everybody has finances and everybody's trying to save or, do wealth management. So, and I think everybody has some emotion around it. So it was a good debate. I thank you for putting up with me last time.
Thank you.
But the technology is very intriguing. The only thing I don't like about it is I got to find an advisor that's using it today.
That's the advantage for the advisor.
Because I want to see it in action. I want to play with it. Because I think, look, I would love to see that transparency. That's really important to me. I want to get away from the modern portfolio theory that gets pushed down my throat, and I want to go look and see exactly how they're managing the business. And that'll give me confidence. I would have confidence with an advisor like that.
I get it, and the good thing is that you're going to be able to see it because I have my computer with me. But that said, your audience, they're going to need to find an advisor and ask their advisor to use our tech.
Is it on YouTube or anything that people can take a look at it?
No, but there is a video explainer on our LinkedIn page that explains it, and on our website there's different screenshots of the product itself.
All right, Jad. Before I let you go, you're in San Francisco here. San Jose.
Yes.
What do you do for fun? I mean, do you have any fun while you're out here? Or is it all business all the time?
Honestly, you're here for 4 or 5 days, meeting financial institutions, VCs, and different people that are part of the ecosystem. So I can tell you that for the last few days, I haven't had fun. But this could change very fast after this interview.
Well, it sounds like this. I know we're going to get a beer after this. See, we're going to make this the real beer discussion.
Exactly.
But that's terrific. It sounds like this is a pivot point or a springboard for your company.
Definitely.
And I'm at the right point. I want to let's check in from time to time.
Would love that.
So that we can see how you're doing and go from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Al.
I appreciate it. And for the listeners, again, I appreciate it. Any feedback that you have, hit almartintalksdata@gmail.com. Be happy to answer it. Until next time, I'll see you on the podcast. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Making Data Simple podcast, where we make data fun. Be sure to visit ibmbigdatahub.com/podcast to access the show notes and uncover even more great episodes. Remember, the views expressed here are those of the host and its guests and do not necessarily represent the views of IBM. Until next time,
Let's go.
over and out.